Okay, so Record of Ragnarok spoilers or leaks just came out, and this chapter was actually pretty crazy. So I just want to get straight into it. But of course, before we get into it, make sure you leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you like Record of Ragnarok, because I post quite a lot of Record of Ragnarok content. I post, discussion videos, I post chapter reviews, I post spoilers, I post, predictions, all that good stuff. But normally if I do spoilers, I probably won't do the actual chapter review, but we'll see what happens in the next few days. I might, just want to make a video on Record of Ragnarok chapter, but apart from that, let's just get into the damn video. Now, this chapter actually opens up with Beelzebub, and I think this is like I guess the cover page for the chapter, and we see Beelzebub just sitting down looking at the fight between Buddha and Hajun. But next we actually see a god on the screen. I think this is a god, but he's holding like a flower or a rose. I'm not too sure what this god's name is, but I'm not too sure if we've been introduced to this god yet, but if you guys can, remind me in the comments, that would be really great. But moving on, we see that, Buddha has obviously taken damage from the attack that Hajun, performed on him in the last chapter. And we see that his eye is actually bleeding quite a lot. And we've seen that Buddha has taken considerable damage against Hajun in this instance. And we see that obviously Buddha is in a pretty bad position right now, to be honest. And if you guys have seen my prediction video, I've actually predicted that, Buddha will lose this fight against Hajun. And to be honest, so far it's looking pretty likely that Buddha is going to lose. But moving on, we see that Hajun is kind of thinking about what he's going to do to Buddha. I think this is what's going on here. I think Hajun is just planning out his, his next attack. And we see that Hajun actually, creates a new weapon, and it kind of looks like a, like a blade-ish, and it has like a protrusion. It's a pretty weird, it's a pretty weird weapon that he's just conjured up here. But I think it looks pretty cool, and I'm, so far I'm liking Hajun's aesthetic. He is a pretty, cool looking character. But moving on, we see that Loki is, in the stands, and he's just watching Buddha versus Hajun. And it looks like he's just kind of commenting on what's going on. So, it's just classic Loki. But moving on, we see that Hajun is obviously having fun in this fight. And we see that, Hajun and Buddha are exchanging blows. And it looks like Hajun is just, he's kind of toying with Buddha at the moment. He's not taking Buddha too seriously, but at the same time, Buddha, he's not looking too good at the moment. And so far, Buddha has not been able to land one decent attack on Hajun, whereas Hajun has, been able to land, 2 solid attacks on Buddha already. But moving on, we obviously see that Buddha and Hajun continue exchanging blows. And we actually see that Hajun says something that, surprises Ares. And I'm not too sure what he says, but it must have been something pretty big that Ares had such a huge reaction. But moving on, we see that Hades actually starts to explain something about Hajun. And we see like a panel of, Hajun kind of emerging from the shadows, I guess. And we see that, Hades is explaining, I guess, how Hajun came to be. But moving on, we see that Beelzebub, it seems that Beelzebub is actually the person that, created Hajun. And I've had this suspicion about Beelzebub from chapters ago. And if you guys have seen my predictions, like a few months ago, I've actually said that Beelzebub is the one controlling Hajun. And it looks like I was correct. Some of you guys actually disagreed with me in the comments, but I guess I was right. But, in this panel, we see that Beelzebub is kind of holding like a black horn thing in his hand. And I think this is what he used to, I guess, control Hajun, because we see that he kind of puts this horn thing inside of, Zorofuku's head. And we actually see that Zorofuku is actually, he's in like a smaller state in this panel. And we see that Beelzebub has put this in Zorofuku's head from, when he was very young. So this was kind of, I guess, it was kind of bound to happen, because this thing has been planted inside of Zorofuku from when he was really young. And we see that Beelzebub was the one that was controlling, he was controlling Zorofuku this whole time. Or more specifically, he is now controlling Hajun. But we actually see that, Hajun gets another solid blow in on, Buddha. And we see that he attacks Buddha's feet. And we see that the attack actually connects with his feet. And obviously that's going to hurt Buddha. So now I think Hajun has, had 3 solid hits in on Buddha. But moving on, we see that Buddha, I guess, kind of gives I don't know if it's a motivational speech to himself, but we see that Buddha is talking about something, but of course I don't know the translations to this. And we actually see that, Buddha gets a brand new weapon. I think this is a new form. And it actually looks pretty good. It's a new form of his spear, or I guess the thing that he's holding. And we see that it turns into I think it's like a dragon head. I'm not too sure what it is, but it looks like kind of like a mixture of a dragon and a tiger. And it actually looks pretty fucking cool. Tell me what you guys think about this in the comments, because I think it actually looks pretty good. I'm not even gonna lie. But moving on, we see that Hajun then gets another blow in on Buddha, and we see that he actually attacks Buddha's, I guess he kind of attacks Buddha's side, and we see that obviously hurts Buddha quite a lot. But we see that Buddha actually perseveres, and this is where the chapter ends. We see that Buddha and Hajun face off against each other, and we see that Buddha is, I guess, shouting in Hajun's face. I guess it's something like, I'm not gonna give up, or something cliche like that. But we see that Hajun is obviously looking quite frustrated in this panel, because I'm guessing Hajun was kind of thinking that was gonna be the last blow. But we see that obviously Buddha isn't going to go down that easily. Well, to be honest, that's it for the spoilers. And to be honest, these spoilers were actually pretty interesting. And we see that Hajun and Buddha are actually kind of on even grounds. Actually, I wouldn't say even grounds, but I would say Buddha is kind of, I guess, he has more of a fighting chance now that he's unlocked a new weapon. But personally, I still think Hajun is going to win. I'm not too sure about you guys, but I kind of think Hajun is going to win this fight. Or I think, this fight could end up in a draw. I'm not too sure, but it's either it's going to be a draw or Hajun is going to win. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the spoilers, to be honest. Tell me what you guys think about the spoilers in the comments. And apart from that, if you liked the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. And apart from that, I will see you in my next video.